Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I am Evil Mike, and I have another review for you from Boom Studios. This is House of Slaughter, issue number 2. It is written by James Tynion IV and Tate Brombal. It's got art by Chris Shehan, and then it's got colors by Miquel Muerto and letters by AndWorld Design. Um, I will show you all some of the art at the end of this review if you are interested. Basically, in the first issue, this is the world of slaughter, right? This is Something is Killing the Children. This is the spin-off series. But this one specifically currently following Aaron Slaughter, one of Erica Slaughter's only friends in the House of Slaughter that we know of, really. I wouldn't say only friend, but like close friend. But basically, we are following Aaron in the first issue. It was like a present story, and then it was like a backstory. And basically, they were painting this picture of him and this companion that came along in the House of Slaughter, and he went by the Butcher. And eventually, like at the end of the story, we saw that at some point he goes rogue, and Aaron Slaughter is tasked to track him down and not track him down, but track him down and kill him. And that's kind of where the first book left off. There was a hint that there was a romantic relationship between the two, and that's kind of as far as we got from the first issue. So with the second issue, basically it starts off with that moment where Aaron Slaughter has snuck up on the Butcher, and now he is known by the Butcher Slaughter because he was introduced into the House of Slaughter. We did find out that he was from a New Orleans house, a different house that wasn't tied to this chapter of I think it's the St. John is the practicing house behind the House of Slaughter. Basically, Aaron confronts him, and at this point, the Butcher just basically is like, "Hey, you want some dinner? I'm cooking right now. You want to sit down and talk?" And Aaron's like, "No, bro." He was like, "You know why I'm here?" He was like, "You know why they sent me," kind of thing. And then the book jumps back, like, to their origin story, like finding out a little bit more after that first day that we saw. And it's basically like Aaron's going to, and I think his name is Jace, and but Jace is basically like, it's that moment after Jace saved him the first time, and that night after, and basically Aaron's going to Jace and he's like, "Hey, thanks, buddy, for like looking out for me. That doesn't really happen here in the House of Slaughter." And Jace just kind of comes off coldly, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, let's keep it at that, like where it doesn't happen like anymore, like kind of thing." And they just go forward like with the book. They kind of like the next day he's supposed to take place, he's supposed to. A ceremony is surrounded by him, and it's basically his introduction because he's being reintroduced to the slaughterhouse versus the house where he came from. And basically we find out it's a retethering of his like totem that they each member of the house has. His is a little fox, and they all carry him. They look like stuffed animals, but inside that stuffed animal is the most vicious monster that they came across. It was like their test of like I hate to say manhood, but basically that in the House of Slaughter, like it was their test of their rite of passage kind of thing. It kind of throws some like back and forth between Aaron and Jace, and Jace kind of like worried, like he kind of shows a little worry about the tethering situation kind of thing. And then we see that the other mass, they're giving shade to Jace and Aaron. Basically, then we go back to the ceremony, and we find out that the tethering is basically they take some scissors and they cut the stuffed animal open, releasing the monster from his magical seal that placed him in the stuffed animal. the monster basically kind of like he tells Jace, he's like, oh boy, you effed up. He was like, now I'm out. And he was like, man, and he's like, you caught me in my beginning stages. He was like, but I've been feeding off you. And he was like, let's go. And it seems like it's gonna go down like that, but Jace, because he has these two knives that he uses, he goes in there, fights him a little bit, and after that reclaims his totem under the new House of Slaughter, emblem. He states an oath that he has to follow by, stating, allegiance to the House of Slaughter. And then basically after that, like they kind of go home and back to the House of Slaughter, and it's that night, and it's another conversation between like Jace and Aaron, and basically it's kind of like that moment where they connected on a relationship level, because like Jace comes off, he's like, yeah bro, he comes off all mean at first, and then like Aaron's about to leave the room, and then Jace kind of and then they just show him cuddling basically. At that point the book jumps back to 15 years later, because that's all the origin stuff of when this guy Jace and when Aaron was first, when they were still basically trainees. But now we jump back to the situation where Aaron Slaughter has Jace the Butcher by like sword, and he's telling him, hey, I'm here to kill you. He was like, I can't go against the house, I have to kill you. And he's like, okay, man. And all of a sudden we see, it looks like Jace's monster is behind him, but not in the totem, out of the totem. And that's where this issue leaves off. Honestly, I'm still loving it. But honestly, with the whole tethering thing, I think they added like a whole new thing, like the cross between different houses. There's a lot that's going into this, and so far I'm enjoying it. I have been enjoying the whole, Something is Killing the Children's story as a whole. I wouldn't say it's like the best book out there, but it's still a good read in my opinion. It's readily available. It's easy to get out there, but I would say if you have the time, and it's so far it's turning out to be a really great story. And I can see it really translating for TV. I think we all know it's coming. But I'm just flipping through some of the art. The art's always fantastic in these books. This was the tethering ceremony. That was pretty badass. I can zoom in. But that ring is actually a bunch of members of the house there. We got like some close-ups of the ritual going down. Like I said, it's kind of like a back and forth situation between, Jace and Aaron, kind of they're kind of explaining the character build up on the tension and why, Aaron doesn't want to kill him straight out. The whole like relationship side of it, they hinted it in the first one. This is the whole fight between Jace and his monster once he has untethered it. Oh, that was badass. I love like the colors, the purple and the pinks, and the way they use it with the monsters. But this is them, for anybody that wanted to see, but it's them kind of like the cuddling scene. That's all they show. There's no kissing or anything more than that, which is kind of nice. They didn't need to go into it. There you have it. Alright guys, that's my review. I'll let y'all go. I'm trying to pump out as many as I can so I can catch up. Y'all have a great Saturday. Bye! Or whenever day you're watching it.